I lost my son Connor 5 months ago. He was only 24 years old. He was kind and sweet. His room is pretty much the same. I have pictures of him there. His posters, his art, work, books, sneakers, and such. Every time I enter the room, I feel some kind of relief. I just love drinking my coffee there in the morning and sit on his bed and look at his touches all over the walls. It just warms my heart. I'm proud of him because he had no selfishness, never mistreated anybody. He was so forgiving and never held grudges. I started recently giving some of his clothes to those who could use them, and it's hard, but I'm taking it slow. My 23-year-old niece and her fiancé, male, moved in with me because of their current financial struggles. They said they only had money left to pay for 1 month's rent and asked me to let them stay with me for a month till my niece's fiancé finds a job. I agreed. I didn't mind having someone to talk to anyway. But I told them that my son's room is a clear boundary and they're not allowed to enter it or be in it for any reason. They have the guest room, and soon enough, they started complaining about sleeping on the floor. Eventually, they stopped. Yesterday, I was out to get groceries. I got home at 8 a.m. I made coffee and was heading upstairs to spend some time in Connor's room. I was surprised to find the door locked. I then found out that my niece and her fiancé were inside. I thought they were in the guest room, but my niece told me that they had spent the night in Connor's room because they couldn't endure sleeping on the floor any longer. I blew up when I saw her fiancé on Connor's bed. I just kept yelling at them and berating them. My niece was shocked by my reaction. She said I overreacted and she'd clean it up later. I told them to get out of the room, pack their things, and leave. My niece called me harsh, cruel, and unreasonable. She kept asking if Connor would have wanted me to treat her like this. I insisted they just leave immediately. They left an hour later. My family heard. My sister said I shouldn't have kicked them out. The reason she can't take them is because her husband doesn't want niece's fiancé at his home due to family disagreement. My sister said I was in the wrong and I overreacted, shamed me for being unsupportive and inconsiderate. The guest room only has mattresses, so they weren't directly sleeping on the floor. They were okay with it at first, but they started complaining. Complained about other things as well. I should mention, my brother-in-law said he won't let niece's fiancé in the house after what happened between them, and he kept swearing up and down that niece's fiancé is never allowed into the house again. My niece refused to move in without her fiancé. That's why I took them both in. You are not the idiot. So they were complaining about sleeping on a mattress on the floor? Not on the actual floor without a mattress. What absolute idiots they were. And sleeping in your son's room and locking the door? What? The niece's implication that there was something she needed to clean up tells me sleeping wasn't exactly what was going on behind the locked door. You are not wrong. 100% agree with this. It doesn't matter what the backstory was. You gave them one forbidden tree, but they ate the apple anyway. That said, oh my God, I am so mad. How dare she say your son? I would have slapped her teeth out of her mouth at that moment. And her mother? Look, if you can't take in your own daughter because her father has forbidden it, how dare you expect others to do so and put up with their nonsense? I'm glad you kicked them out. You are not the idiot. It was a clear boundary and they broke it. You did them a huge favor, letting them essentially live rent-free, and they threw it in your face. Your niece is unbelievably manipulative, trying to use your dead son against you. I'm sure Connor would be proud of your kindness, and I'm sorry for your loss. Absolutely. I am so sorry for your loss, OP. I can't even imagine. Your sister had no right to berate you when her daughter and fiancé disrespected you and your son like that. Now I think I know why your sister's husband doesn't want the fiancé at their house. This behavior says a lot about how selfish and insensitive they are. Niece is a toddler, and I've been my sister's, 27, only babysitter since she was born. My mom occasionally babysits, but only about once a month, as she lives 45 minutes away from my sister, and I only live 15 minutes away. Well, my sister has been asking me to babysit a lot recently. For example, in the past week, I've babysat 5 days, and it's not just for an hour. Yesterday, I was there from 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. I haven't been home for more than a few hours, not sleeping, in days. She made me get somebody to cover my shift at work today so I could babysit, and does this often. She doesn't allow me to eat any food at her house, but I'm also not allowed to take my niece in the car. I've never been pulled over or in any accidents that I was driving. So my only option is to order delivery, which can get expensive. She told me in the past she's going to start paying me, but the only time she's ever paid me was over New Year's Eve, where she paid $40 for babysitting overnight. My sister just moved over 30 minutes away from me. I told her if she wants me to continue babysitting, I'm going to need to be compensated for the time and money I'm spending in gas and food. She got really upset and told me that I shouldn't want to be paid for spending time with my niece. Am I the idiot? You are not the idiot. Your sister is taking advantage of you. This is not about spending time with your niece. It's about her getting free childcare. You need to stop babysitting immediately. I rolled my eyes when I read that comment from the sister. At a bare minimum, she should be covering gas and a meal for watching her. That isn't even payment. It's just expenses. OP needs to put up a stronger front for saying no. You are not the idiot. Your sister is treating you like a slave. You need to tell her that Lincoln freed the slaves, and the time has come for her to find other childcare arrangements. There is no excuse for how she treats you. You need to grow a spine and stand up for yourself. Why on earth do you follow her command of not going to a paying job so that you can be her unpaid slave? Providing your sister with slave labor will not pay your bills and could cost you your job. Nobody else is going to stand up for you, so you need to do it for yourself. Update. I texted my sister and said, look, I love being able to see my niece as much as I do, but I need to start getting paid for babysitting. I would have made $180 at work this weekend, but I lost $130 since you told my boyfriend to tell me to split the $100 with him for gas money. I'm your only babysitter other than mom, but mom barely babysits, and I have been a few days a week. I want $10 an hour. That's lower than you'll find from anyone else in the town she lives. And she responded with, okay, I'll find someone else. She then went on to tell me that I need to get my stuff from her house by next weekend, or it's getting thrown away, and that I shouldn't have come at her instead of trying to have a discussion. She pulled the "you're her aunt" card and said, you didn't ask to be paid, you demanded. At this point, I kinda lost my cool and told her everything I've wanted to say for years, and she said, we're done, delete my number. Done. Thank you everyone for all of your advice. While it sucks she reacted this way, I'm extremely proud of myself for finally sticking up for myself after 20 years. I'm a young lady, and like most my age, I enjoy having privacy in my bedroom and attached bathroom. This bathroom has a sliding door that connects itself to my room and a regular door to the outside. My situation is unique because I have a severely autistic younger brother who is obsessed with flickering lights, and if a light is on, he will turn it off instantly and at whatever length it takes to do this. So our house is basically like the power is out 24/7. In my own bedroom, I enjoy having the light to do things like my homework or literally just anything. The same goes for my bathroom when I'm using it. I'm quite mature. I clean up after myself and do my own laundry. So when my brother obsessively picks my lock to get in my room just to turn off my light, or even when my light is off, he will pick my lock to turn it off and on again. I get really frustrated. It happens during anything like me changing my clothes or doing homework. In the past, when he's had access to my room, he'd do things like mess with my products and rip my money apart. This is why I started locking my doors. I decided to install a lock with a key for my bedroom and bathroom door. Out of 4 keys, I offered one to my mom and one to my dad. But my mom is starting to pick a fight with me. She says my bathroom that I clean myself and store all my products in is not supposed to be mine. Her argument is that I need to open up this bathroom in my bedroom for my siblings. She says I shut myself off from the family, which is true. But to be honest, I do this because I don't like interacting with my brother. Years of trauma due to his autistic behaviors. She says my brother should be able to come into my room whenever he wants, and that the entire household should be able to use my bathroom. This obviously upset me. I like having one place in the house that's private to me, and I like having a bathroom that is my own. 3 bathrooms in the house, one of these is mine. So, am I the idiot? Am I being the inconsiderate sister who needs to offer access of my room and bathroom to my severely can't talk, throws severe tantrums, and has destructive repetitive behaviors brother? Not the idiot. Having an autistic sibling does mean sacrificing certain things. However, it sounds like your mom is forgetting that your feelings in life matter too. If they let him run around the whole house, then he has more than enough space. And especially with you being a girl, this is important. Not to mention, it will be good for your brother to learn boundaries. He's getting older, and your parents won't be there forever. The entire world, unfortunately, will not be so patient with his condition. It sounds like you may want to try to talk with them about this. You are not the idiot. Your parents are doing you, your brother, and themselves a disservice by allowing your brother to run the house like this instead of working with him on coping mechanisms and socialization. They are sacrificing you, your privacy, development, ability to study, and mental health because it is easier for them than actively parenting and getting professional help for your brother. Of course you lock yourself in your room sometimes. I'm overwhelmed and exhausted at just the thought of living in that household. You are not the idiot. Time to make a report about this to a child welfare group. Your brother should never be allowed to pick privacy locks. By allowing it in one place, it is opening up the option to be allowed in other places. As an autistic person, I struggle badly with exceptions. Many other autistic people do as well. Your parents can so well teach your brother that locked doors are a permanent exception because he will not understand that just because he can get away with picking your lock, he shouldn't pick other locks, like at stores or public bathrooms or other people's houses. I, male 27, am a nurse. My fiance and I have a 1-year-old baby boy. Fiance doesn't work. She decided to leave her precious job and stay at home. We've agreed that since I'm the one working, she's the one handling home chores. Our son's care is shared, meaning there are times when I handle his feeding, bathing, cleaning, etc. However, I made it clear that when it's time for work, she should be taking responsibility. So far, everything has been going according to what we agreed upon. But recently she's been complaining about my shift hours changing, which is something I can't control, obviously, because currently the unit lacks in nurses, and it's impossible for me to do day-to-day planning because sometimes I'd work 12 hours, sometimes 15. So it's quite unpredictable, but I do my best to spend time at home and give my fiance time for herself. Her cousin's wedding was 2 days ago. That morning, my fiance wanted me to skip work and stay home with our son so she'd go to the salon with her sisters. I told her I just can't skip work for the day. I already had a long shift that started at 7:45 a.m. till 6 p.m. I told her she could either call my mom or just wait for me to come home. She threw a fit and saying her cousin's wedding was important and that I was being unsupportive. I left home after that and started my shift at the hospital. At around 1 p.m., when I was in the middle of work, it usually gets busier in the afternoon, I got a few missed calls from my fiance. Then she sent a text telling me she was at the hospital's parking lot with our son. I went to meet her there. She wanted me to take our son and watch him till she gets back from the salon at 4. I lost it. I told her I can't watch our son when I'm in the middle of my shift, and she kept saying I should just let him stay with me and that it was okay. I absolutely lashed out at her. I called her unreasonable and selfish. She could have let someone watch him, but she said her family was busy. We got into an argument, and she left him with me. I had to drive to my mom's house and let her have him till I finished my shift. I got home and I was extremely mad. My fiance and her mom said I overreacted and that I was supposed to help since he's my son too. Mother-in-law said I was in the wrong for caring more about my work than my own son. But I already told my fiance I was busy. She wanted me to apologize for yelling and causing a scene, but I refused after this. I want to mention that she's normally fine with my work schedule until recently, and whenever there's an event, we'd both make arrangements and I'd stay with our son while she's gone. This time I told her I was busy and that I won't be allowing her to distract me from work, but she was being stubborn thinking I'm prioritizing work and being unsupportive. Those might be her mother's words, but my fiance takes responsibility here. This misunderstanding, as my fiance calls it, could have ended with a discussion, but her mother is determined to paint me as the bad parent who isn't pulling weight and taking part and responsibility in caring for our son. I'm tired of her and how she keeps judging me while ignoring her daughter's behavior. You are not the idiot. Your fiance and her mother sound like idiots. Mother-in-law said I was in the wrong for caring more about my work than my own son. Her daughter cared more about a salon appointment than her own son. Do you really want to marry into this? Yeah, I was wondering what exactly mother-in-law thinks you're doing every day if you're not earning the income that feeds you, fiance, and baby, keeps a roof over your head, etc. It seems like the apple didn't fall far from the tree. And if I were you, I'd reconsider tying yourself to such a selfish, self-centered woman. Just look at your future mother-in-law for what fiance will be like in 20 to 30 years. Your fiance thought it was appropriate to let you watch your 1-year-old son at a hospital during a worldwide health crisis because she wanted to get her hair done. She also basically forced you to abandon your patient load while you went to drop off your child with a more suitable childcare option, jeopardizing your job. And she expects you to apologize? You are not the idiot, but she certainly is. Not to mention the fact that she doesn't work. If you don't work, you can't do stupid stuff that jeopardizes the only income your household has. I, 25 male, care very much about my health and fitness. I worked out at the gym frequently, pre-global issue anyway, but I still work out regularly at home. And I stick to a good diet. This will all be important later. My wife, 23, is very overweight. I don't mind. I have encouraged her in the past to try to be healthier, but she told me to stop, and I respected her wishes. Anyway, it was our anniversary a while ago, so we were planning on eating out at one of our favorite fancy restaurants. To save gas money, we were planning on taking the train. We drove to the train station, parked in the parking lot, and sat on a bench to wait until the train arrived. While we were waiting, one of my friends, 24 female, from the gym, saw me and started to make conversation. We talked about what diets we were using, what our workout plans were, etc. My wife, who was unusually silent, excused herself to go to the toilet. Soon after, my friend finished talking and went on her way. However, I noticed my wife was taking an unusually long time on the toilet. By the time the train arrived, she was still gone. I texted her, telling her that the train had arrived, and asked her how much longer she would be. I didn't get any reply. I was about to call the police when she finally texted back, saying she was at home. This really baffled me. I thought she was using the toilet. I tried to ask her what she meant, but again, no reply. I went to the parking lot to drive home and ask her when I saw that the car wasn't there. I called an Uber to drive me. When I arrived home, my wife was in our room. I asked her what she was thinking, coming back without telling me. So she told me that when I was talking with my friend about fitness, it made her very uncomfortable about her weight. So I kid you not, she lied to me about using the toilet and took the car back home. Needless to say, I was very angry with her. I told her that what she did wasn't okay, but she wasn't having any of that. She got in the car and drove off to my parents' house. She then texted my entire family, telling them stuff like, I hated her because of her weight, and stuff like that. They've been blowing up my phone, telling me what an idiot I am, and that fat shaming isn't cool. I tried to tell them my side of the story, but they wouldn't listen. I think I'm in the right, but my family keeps bothering me. So I have to ask, am I the idiot? I did introduce my wife to her, and no, we didn't say anything about her weight. Also, my wife knew my friend before the incident. It sounds like the wife is insecure over the fact that OP is in shape and has in-shape female gym buddies. You are not the idiot, OP. You are not wrong. She acted like a child and left you there without telling you, then had the nerve to lie to your whole family about what you did? You did nothing. It was just a conversation. Unless you two were openly shaming and talking about fat people in front of her, I don't see how discussing diets and exercises is fat shaming. Her insecurity about her own weight should not stop you from talking about normal stuff with one of your friends. I am a bit confused why your whole family won't even listen to you. How does your wife have a better relationship with your family than you? I think you are all idiots here. It's so rude to have a long conversation between two parties present that does not engage the third party, and especially when the topic is a sensitive issue for the third party. She should have communicated better though. He says himself that he has tried encouraging her to exercise more and eat better, and she told him to stop. I suspect we don't have the full story. You are the idiot. You're going out on a date with your wife for your anniversary? It's supposed to be about celebrating your relationship and cherishing your time together. You don't take your partner out for an anniversary and then talk extensively with someone else about a hobby your partner doesn't share. Even that's enough to be an idiot. But then adding in that you know diet and fitness is a difficult topic for your wife. It's just disrespectful.